to call to order the meeting of the West Bend Community Library Board for February 18th. May we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I would like to have a motion to approve the consent agenda, which is the library board meeting from January 21st and also the January 2025 expenditures. May I have a motion?
I'll motion.
Joseph, may we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion or questions? I have some, as I always do. I have noticed on here that we paid the elevator of $5,400. Are we paying it a one-time shot now?
That's an annual.
Okay, because I know we used to have the $450, it was like $450 a month.
Yeah.
And I figured that, I just didn't want it to be a problem that we had to fix.
That one was easy.
Okay, yeah, I figured that. The other one should be easy too, it's probably a book or something. What is Lucas Holdings LLC? Pardon?
That's our new library cards.
Oh,
For being here.
okay.
I did that.
Well, that's good. It was just something that I hadn't seen.
Would you guys like to see the new cards? Should I go grab them? Is that necessary?
Sure, go ahead.
It's probably- we got a business card too.
Oh, new business cards too. Wow.
Coming out.
We're moving up in the world. Okay, those are my two questions. Does anyone else have any questions? If not, we have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Financial reports. Joseph.
Yep, so the CD, I did update the balance as of 1/31/2025 with the new interest. So now it's at $47,178.48. And then we did lock in like a 3 point something, I don't remember, percent for 13 months. So that'll be updated on the next month's financial packet.
Okay.
And then there was a check, well, there was a donation from the Friends Group and then a payment to the Advanced Communication Services for the TVs and stuff in the other room, And then there was a donation for programming, 15 cents of interest, and a check to Glenn Gerard Magic Productions for a magic show.
Okay. Any questions? I think, Steve, you have to make a note of this, but technically we should have taken the interest and spent it on what was required from the money. Because if we look on here, technically, the interest is scheduled to buy certain things based on, Marna Ziegler was for materials.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying? So we didn't do it this time, but that's okay, but now we can plan in the future. So the next time, in 13 months, when the CD comes due, we'll take the interest out and spend it on the designated objectives of why these people gave us that.
is that?
All of them listed. Emphasis on materials, the other one is emphasis on travel and geography.
Right, I see they all have something on there.
Yeah, yeah.
On the other hand, when we start our endowment fund, we can keep that in mind when, the money can just be reinvested.
Reinvested
and
into
then
that.
the endowment fund can be used for those items that they,
Okay.
I
Okay.
think that's,
Either way,
Yeah.
yeah, we're doing what we want. Okay,
yeah, we will honor their wishes for sure.
okey dokey.
I passed around the cards, if you want
Let's
to,
see that.
if
Can
you
we,
want them
can
back,
we,
you can keep the, you can keep one for Terica, if you want.
I think
The main thing to point out is the backup card.
The back has a.
QR code.
I will take one.
The library cards, we do want those back.
Oh, you mean I can't use those?
You could get a new library card, I think it's.
Nah, I can use my old one.
$2. What a bargain.
$2? No, I have you use your library card to get in the internet and the things. I
Yeah.
am not gonna change. Mine is
Very nice.
logged in
You
and
shouldn't change.
creature of habit.
But these are
They're
nice
very
'cause
nice.
They've got the barcode printed on the card,
They're
which
also
makes it a little.
Laminated
They're
print
also plain, so that if there's any changes, even if it's a color change,
to the library.
we can keep it
Hmm?
without having to.
Reorder new cards.
Oh, what a novel idea.
Whose idea was it? I don't know.
I think that was, I get credit for the QR code on the back of the business
Yeah.
card that says.
Yes.
"Need a library card, scan the QR code and it goes to the.
The city's already doing them.
Yeah, well, the city
Somebody
does-
got it.
I'm not gonna say anything.
Okay.
Somebody got it.
That doesn't go to the library card sign up though, I'm
Okay.
sure. It just goes to the city website, which is not nearly as exciting as the library card.
Okay, I'll admit that.
Okay. On here, Joseph, I'm gonna ask about the finances. You've
Yeah.
got the deposit, donation for AV update.
Yes.
That's for the audio video.
Yes. That was for like
That
the
was-
TVs and stuff.
That's what the Friends.
Yes.
What a wonderful thing. You know, those Friends, they're really, we really have to thank them. They're doing an amazing job. Amazing with the funds and stuff, so please pass that
That
back.
was a few years worth of fundraising.
It was.
It's not-
Yeah.
Yeah, but still,
Not quite the same level as some of the other friends groups that have a
Yeah.
lot more money, but this is very nice for them to do that, and it does kind of emphasize their area where they
Yeah.
pay for the coffee for and the cookies too for that coffee Friday.
they were selling benches, right? Has that, it
They
hasn't
were-
gone public
We still have
yet.
3 more, I think we're looking for.
Really? You know, I didn't even see, I knew it was being,
There was a flyer somewhere. I don't know where they were handing them
Okay.
out.
okay, so you need 3 more benches.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Any other questions for Joseph on the finances? If not, we will move on to the library director's report.
All right, well, I think we'll have
Amber?
Amber talk about her report, so she can leave. She wants to.
Do you want to
I
introduce
have
her?
like groups coming in to visit tonight, so I'm like, oh, that, I did not plan that well.
So, if you don't know Amber, this is our communications.
Liaison?
guru,
Liaison.
everything.
Promotional, that kind of stuff.
She does all kinds of things here. That's Amber.
Okay, hello.
So, my position has been new to this place, well, relatively new, it's within the last 2 years. And so the first year I took just to kind of view what was going on and how things were going and what our presence was. And then the second year we went through the rebrand, and then it was kind of me saying, okay, we're gonna start pulling some strings in together. And then I decided now that we've got that somewhat established and in a good schedule, let's focus on that social media, because we did make some strides in the social media, which you'll see. And why it's important to the library, because it's like a free marketing tool. And so we'll kind of go into it a little bit. Now, our current platforms that we use right now are Facebook and Instagram. At the time of this presentation, I'll say that, we had 5,558 followers. We had 2.5K engagement, which is roughly 45% of our followers. The industry average is 5% to 5 to 10%. What does that mean? That means that 45% of our followers are actively watching our stuff, they're actively liking, commenting, all that kind of stuff. So we have a really high engagement number. And so we know that we're getting out to the masses with this. Facebook is our biggest draw for our social media platforms. We're not quite there with Instagram. But I can put anything pretty much on Facebook and get feedback almost immediately. So that's really, really good. That means that we're hitting the right audience for that. So because we didn't really have anybody in my position to field the social media, and I started doing that in 2024, it became our most engaged year. What we saw in terms of how many people we had increased, and the feedback we were getting from it. So we have quite a range, an age range here, and it's the age range that really uses the library the most, ironically. And I think it's really representative of what we see coming in the doors as well. Now the downside of that is that 86% women, right? We know that it's not just all women coming into the library, but they are the ones actively using the Facebook page. And that's a tell, because that means that they're invested in us, and that's how they're seeing things like our Kiwanis family nights and stuff like that. Most engaged days of the week, this one was kind of interesting to me. I was a little surprised to see it, but starting with number 1 being Thursday, number 2 Monday, 3 Friday, and 4 Tuesday. So this is the reason why this was interesting to me, is because on Friday is when I started doing a fun reel, and we would get a lot of feedback off of it, but it was something fun. It wasn't necessarily promotional all the time. Monday is typically the day that you'll see that schedule that I put up on the Facebook page. If you're not familiar, I put a weekly schedule up on the Facebook page telling everybody what's going on for the week. I post that on Sunday, but we get more feedback on it on Monday. So I just thought those were interesting points. So how are our followers finding us? They're finding us via those reels. Our most popular posts are also carousel photo posts. What that means is I'm putting up a bunch of photos at one time. It's not just, hey, we have, I don't know, STEM today. Those are getting less feedback, as opposed to, check out our librarian for a day, isn't she adorable? That's getting more feedback. And also, if we dive deeper into the interactions that we're having, on our reels especially, because those go out to the public, all of this goes out to the public. And part of that algorithm, right? We all hear about the Facebook algorithm. Who is this reaching? Well, we're lucky in that most of our posts will show that between 50 to 80% of our followers are the ones looking at our content. That means that, again, it's hitting the right audience. We're not just having strangers see what's going on at the library and building that connection with us. It's our community members. With that in mind, let's talk about the 2025 social media strategy plan. As a nonprofit, our social media goals lean toward information, sharing, rather than going viral, although it would be nice. The irony of this. Oh, the irony of this. I gave this presentation to the leadership crew the day that I posted the viral video on our Facebook page. Where is that viral video now? The viral video has been viewed 1.1 million times, almost 1.2 million times. And it also garnered us 500 additional followers. Wow. So when I said that these numbers are a little out of date, that's why. So we're at almost 6,000 followers as of today's date, as of this afternoon. So what will the mantra be? And if you follow our Facebook page, you'll have already seen some of this stuff and what this means. So every video, all the content that I put out on social media needs to run by this phrase: community-driven and reader-focused. We really want to establish ourselves as a community center, but also get back to the basics, right? We are still a library. So we want those two things highlighted the most in any kind of content that we put on the social media page. So this is going to be your storytelling era. We want to build that emotional connection, highlight the library as a community beacon, and also highlight our resources, our staff, the people who use our library. We want it to be fun, but we want it to be educational and meaningful. And that is going to be evident in every post that we put up. So what does this mean? This means that we want more emphasis on our partnership programming and the library as a whole. We want to focus less on sharing individual events. We want to talk about how great this place is and make it seem really fun and super exciting so that they just come here no matter what. Not because of the event, but because of what we draw in who we are. Partnership programming is going to be really important for us in the next couple of years. We want to be we want people to say, I want to do this event, I don't know where to start, and we want them to say, you should go to the library. They'll get you connected. So what does that mean? So the last couple of weeks, I have been sharing a lot more of our partners' needs and wants. Things like the volunteer center was looking for new baristas. We're going to share that on our story, because that's not going to clog our feed, but it still is going to get the word out with our 5,946 followers, and it's also going to help our partner out. And because of that, they can say, well, I saw you needed it because of the library, or vice versa. The hub sees we're in need of something, they might throw it out for us too. So again, the kind of posts you'll see, I'm going to continue with those weekly schedule of events posts, mostly because it's just really helpful. I pin them right to the top of the page. That way then it's not, hey, what's going on? Because I get a lot of those private messages. What's going on? How do I do this? When does the Youth Farmers Markets of registration open? That's all still going to be up on there. We're going to talk more about staff and patron book recommendations. I have a nice new friend in my office. His name is Ryan Mossling. I don't know if you've seen him on our Facebook page, but he is a Brazilian moss ball. He lives in a glass of water, and he loves romance. And he recommends romance reads to the masses. Here's a fun fact. Our viral video earned us a new follower. Her name is PC Cast. She is a New York Times best-selling YA author. She loves us now. So Ryan Mossling puts out to the world, hey, you should read her House of Night series called Marked, and it gets a bunch of feedback on it, including PC, and she says, thank you so much, this is amazing. And then an hour later, I get a private message from her saying, by the way, House of Night got greenlit for a film. So it's really cool to see that you talked about this, not knowing this was going to happen. And now we have a New York Times bestseller who just loves our library. And loves Ryan Mossling. We're going to do more behind the scenes, get to know our staff. Some of the biggest highlights of our Facebook page the last year were any time that our staff were highlighted. They just love to see what we're doing and how our inner workings come about. So this morning we posted a video about if you were a library cart, this is what you would see. So I strapped my phone to the front of the library cart and I wheeled it all around. I took it in and grabbed some books out of the drop. I took it through story time. I took it upstairs, past Ed the Head. This is the view of the Westman Library cart. We're going to do more things like that. I also plan on putting a phone to the bubble gun machine that Terica uses at Baby Story Time. We're just going to let it fly and get the reactions. We're going to highlight with this POV series. It's going to be a lot of fun. Volunteer donor spotlights, that'll be coming. Resources in action, I'd love to do some, hey, this is something that I'm looking to find out more about, and then highlight that, specifically our ancestry, because we do have a club here who meets and they're really interested in that kind of stuff. Also, the microfilm and stuff like that. I'd love to be able to show people that we have that, and of course our living products and stuff. Patron interactions, this last couple of months we've had librarian for a day. I'd like to do more things like that, kind of get feedback from patrons on certain things. And then highlights again of our nonprofit organization events. We are doing a lot of programming partnership this summer, or this year in general. And then the last one, I don't know if you've caught the first web series of this, but it's called Cindy in the City. This idea came about when me and Steve were just kind of jiving about this. Wouldn't it be cool to get out in the city and talk about it? And then Cindy just happened to walk by and I was like, Cindy in the City. And so that's what she's going to be doing. She's going to be going around and interviewing different nonprofits, different businesses, anybody in the city. And we're going to highlight them. So the very first one was our friend Jessica, who's actually here today, from Citizen Advocates. She talked a little bit about her organization, a program she had coming up, and then we brought it back by talking about books. And so she told a story about how she waited in line for forever to get her Babysitter Club book signed. So we plan on doing more things like that. We have a couple of programs lined up, organizations lined up. We have a feeler out to Heart and Hearth, right? Homestead, sorry. I'm thinking like Joanna Gaines. Heart and Homestead, so it's going to be stuff like that that we're going to be highlighting. So we want to tell the stories of not just us, but the city, and we want them to be at the same time. So, the big change here is that we're not gonna be putting an emphasis on our events and our programming. We're gonna be putting an emphasis on ourselves, because the success that we've had here the last couple of years should speak for itself. We shouldn't have to put out, hey, this is happening tonight. Everybody knows Kiwanis Night is always the third Thursday. So it's stuff like that that we want to keep building in. We want them to think of us as the fun. We bring them in just because of who we are, and then they get to see what is all offered here. Because I think the programs speak for themselves. We don't need to speak for them. That's ultimately the biggest part of all of that. And that's the end. Guys have any questions? I threw a lot at you.
No, I think it's great. I've
Followed it.
worked with another nonprofit in Cedarburg, and I love some of your concepts that you have. And can you email us the slides?
I can definitely email the
Because I
slides.
think you could take some of your things that you're just, we're on social media too, but you've taken it to another level, and I just think I wanted to try to get to my
Stealing
boards.
our social media.
I want to take some of your concepts. to
You're
the board and say
partnering.
that.
This is a nonprofit, so you can say you're partnering with them.
Absolutely.
We can talk about that, yeah.
Good. So last year at the was it WAPL that we went to, right? Yeah. Yes, public libraries. Yep. So we went to WAPL last year in Stevens Point, and I went to a webinar, or not a webinar, a session about social media and stuff like that, and it was presented by the Kenosha team, and they've had some success. But you know what was funny was I had a bunch of Monarch System librarians in there with us, and they all turned to me at the end and they were like, that was great, but what do you do? And I had just gotten started, this was, but we went from having just a couple of hundred views on a video sharing information about who we are. I would get usually around 300 views, 300 to 500. Now, without a doubt, I can put something out and it's got 1,000. We've got a couple 12,000, a couple 13,000.
This hasn't happened probably recently, but Terica used to have the overnight for the stuffed animals.
Mm-hmm.
Those videos, even if you could just re-show one of those.
Yeah, absolutely.
I am amazed, because once in a while I'm thinking, oh, what can I want to see something funny, and I really like those videos. Well, she's got the police come because the stuffed animals are making too much noise and stuff like that.
And that
So-
is that's the good thing about, and I've actually started to reshare some of our older videos too, because now that we've kind of built up this archive, we can do that, and that is something that they say to do when you are trying to establish your social media, is bring back some of those more popular videos and bring them back a couple times, because it might take a couple
Views.
before it hits again. So absolutely, you're right. More highlights of patrons and stuff like that, they like that kind of stuff. So one of our bigger videos too that we had in the past was Romier announcing who won the summer reading ride to school with the cop or whatever, first day of school. That was like one of our biggest videos, and there was nobody in the video but me and him, and he just was announcing it. And so it just goes to show that they don't want to know about events. They just want to see how do we interact in this.
That's what I like about your presentation, because my group, we have a concert this Sunday, that they kind of really push that. And we're doing things like member spotlights and doing things. And I think focusing on, this is a musical group, on our members and our staff, like I just bounce this off of my board there. Because I think they all know what our concerts are. Like you say, you all know when your events are. And I think we're in that event thing, and now this is wonderful. I want to get them out of that.
Absolutely. It's a great tool, and like the way we utilize, libraries especially, the way we utilize social media is to get information out. It's not to become popular, right? But we can accomplish both to a certain degree. Look at Milwaukee Public Library. If you have not had the chance, please look them up on Instagram. They are amazing.
They do funny
Their
stuff.
content is amazing. And they're able to bring awareness to libraries in general. And but still get their point across as to what's going on, and I'd love to see us in that field as well.
Well, Steve, their budget is amazing probably in Milwaukee.
Well, we're making strides.
Yes,
I don't mind strapping that camera to, or that phone.
that
to
phone,
my-
yeah.
I'm used to the guerrilla style of camera use and camera work and all that kind of stuff. So
Well,
that's-
thank you. That was very informative.
Yeah.
Really, really appreciate that.
Amber
Thank you
definitely
very
has an
much.
eye for video. We have somebody here who comes and visits us who worked as a professional photographer, videographer. He did some music videos, and he's pretty well known in the industry. And he's like, "This is amazing. Where did she get her training?" And it's just Amber.
It's just Amber.
She just knows how to do things, and so we're very lucky to have her on our team.
It sounds
Well,
great.
thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I don't know how to disconnect this.
No, the ideas are, I could see moving around the band room, like, things like that.
Do it a section at a time.
Yes, it just,
Now it's just.
I want to bounce it off
Now
our
it's
social
stuck.
media guy.
Oh.
He just posts things. It's
Oh, it's coming. It's changing.
Okay.
Are we going
Something's
back to
happening.
seeing Jay and Tim?
Yeah, I don't know if it's changing for the better.
Hey, you guys, wake up.
But yeah, the question is, are they still there?
I would think they could have heard
They're
the,
still here. Yeah, I can see Tim and Jay here, so they're still engaged, and it looks like it's coming around. It'll come back.
why don't you ask the communications? Yeah.
I'm still here. You might have.
Still here.
Yeah.
Maybe you strap this into your, well, you're all strapped in.
I am strapped in, so let me just see.
I just had to screw this all up for you.
Well, we have
No.
to try this equipment, and one of the things we've learned, since it is my library director.
Thank you very much.
Is that
Thank
we
you.
had a couple projects done by this company, this room and the Storytime room. The Storytime room has been giving us trouble, so I've discussed with our advanced communications who did the project that the Friends donated, and I've had him look at our Storytime room, and he said, we can do this, and I said, just do that. And so we're gonna get that all tidied up. They put in some consumer level quality instead of commercial level quality materials, and it's just doesn't
Okay.
work that well, so.
Okay.
This will come around or not. I'm gonna just unplug and
That's, yeah.
plug us back in.
That's my technology, just unplug or
Yeah.
turn on.
And
Let's
hope it all goes
reboot.
okay.
See what happens.
My mom does
There
that.
we
There.
There you go.
We're genius.
All right. Well, please thank Amber. That was
Yeah,
really,
that was
great.
really,
yeah.
I'm gonna report some of that back to my board.
Yeah. We've done
Oh.
well.
Right, Mr. Steve, Leap and Vega, ILS products.
All right, so we have a couple things that I did get some feedback from Monarch on. One, there's two products that we use with our ILS, and one is we just I shouldn't say recently, it was 2021, we approved going forward with Vega products. There was some confusion among the library directors, I think there still might be, and we're just looking for some documentation to back up where we're at. This is adding to our cost of doing business to make our catalog better, and you've seen our new catalog, I hope. If you haven't looked at our catalog, go check it out and see what you think. What they've done essentially is compressed our files so that multiple records are compressed on, well, it looks like one record. It's like a card, and then you can look at, it's an ebook, audiobook, those kinds
Oh,
of
yeah, I
things.
noticed that, yeah.
And there's other enhancements to the catalog that are very nice, and I think very worthwhile. It's been a struggle working with the Vega product, because it's, in the software world, when we say I'm not in the software world, but when they say under development, that means they're working on that product, they're building that product currently, it's not been shelved now and put away. So that's what I understood, that this product was under development, meaning it was they're working on this. And what we found is we're not only just beta testing it, I think there's a lot of things that they haven't even figured out in the software. I think this is maybe a common situation that we find ourselves in with a lot of software developers right now, because the staff turnover and just staffing in software development has been hard. So we've been sold a product that was supposed to do all these wonderful things and wasn't doing these wonderful things. The good news is we haven't paid for that product yet. We haven't gotten a bill for it. Or Monarch hasn't gotten a bill for it, and that way they're not going to bill us for it until it's working properly, and we don't know exactly when that will happen. We do know that our share is going to be $1,500 to start, so that's a very small price for these products that they're enhancing our library with. And there's going to be a graduation from there to get us to a level that's supported by Monarch. And I don't know the exactness of those graduations, and then they'll have money to do other things, I guess.
So-
like an annual 1,500 or is it one?
1,500 annually. So
And in 10 words or less, what is a Vega, what is the purpose? Just to
well,
help?
there's three purposes, and I'm not going to do it in 10 words.
Oh,
I'll try to make it brief. So the first part was the catalog, which is the discover element. Then there is program, which works like a programming calendar. I believe I might have that mixed up a little bit. And then there's a promote, which allows us to promote our programs through different media programs. I'm not exactly sure how those all work. When our team looked at promote and program, they decided that the calendar that was provided by a different vendor was better than what was being provided by Vega at the time. And there was talk over the years about how this was going to be, Vega would be a cheaper option than getting a calendar on our own because it's part of this program. And then we found out that it's all in one and there's no breakout for the different components. So that's why
so the fee is for everything, no
that's
matter
what I was
whether you
told
use it or
by
not?
Rudy is that
Okay.
it's all in one. So
Okay.
that's what she informed me of most recently. And so that's where we're going, and we discussed it as a director's council, that's the way it is, and I'm not opposed to that small charge for what we're getting.
Do they have a timeline as to when they feel their beta testing will be done? I mean, because I worked in IT and I know what that testing is, and boy, that can be a real son of a gun.
Yeah,
Until you get the finalized product. And even when you get the finalized product, don't expect it to be perfect.
right. If I'm not mistaken, and I don't have any of this in writing yet, but I think I have it down. They negotiate the contract for Polaris or our
The
ILS
ILS.
at the end of the year. And that will probably precipitate all the costs actually coming together.
So would this replace Polaris?
No, Polaris is still underneath everything that we do, so that's the
Okay.
base.
You'd still have Polaris.
And Vega is a third-party software on top of it, although whenever we talk about Vega, we're talking to Polaris. So there's some communication things that I'd like to clean up, and I'd like to have some documentation to share with you, and actually share with, well, to have in my files anyway, that says this is what this is how it works, that kind of thing. And we don't have that yet, but we're working on that.
Okay.
And then there's the LEAP side of things, which is also part of the ILS product. And we've used that in the past with outreach. And there's a new push from Monarch to use LEAP for other areas in the library. And it is an investment in time for us to learn this product and use this product, and it is a changing product, so I guess it's under development. But we're not beta testing everything there.
Okay, what is the intent of LEAP?
What we were informed of in the past, before our new system director, was that if we were to move away from the clients that we have on each of our circulation machines and go to LEAP, there would be a large cost savings for the system and for the libraries. There's no documentation for that, again, so I'm struggling with this because we're chasing after something without having documentation to say this is going to be beneficial to us.
So this would replace currently what we have?
LEAP can be used in place of our circulation stations that the staff currently use, and it's a mobile platform or a web-based platform. It's created some unique challenges, mostly I think printing receipts was the biggest issue.
And reports.
And reports.
So this would replace what we currently have?
Again, it still runs on top of we still have to have the client for some items. But we pay a fee for each client we have in the library. So every computer that has Polaris installed, which is our basic ILS, we pay a fee based on that. The documentation should show us that there's a cost savings for us to move to LEAP, if we have some documentation for that. And that will be coming at the end of the year when they renegotiate the contract for our Polaris product.
Brad, you?
Yeah, the other thing that has to be understood too is that we can't get rid of all the clients, because the way LEAP works, when you log in, you have to attach it to a working client that's on a computer. You actually put a computer name that has one of the clients on there. Now, I've tested this, and I was able to put at least 9 machines all on the same computer. So conceivably, we would only possibly need 1 client. We will probably need more for other purposes.
And
That's
define
just
what a
one.
client is.
So a client is right now, for example, this computer, this laptop here has a client, and what it is, it's just loaded onto
Okay.
the machine.
device.
Yeah, it's not web-based or anything like that, which is actually another situation where right now, if, let's say our internet was to go down, let's say we just lost everything, we can, as long as we have power, we can go into an offline mode on the client
Okay.
where it gathers the data when you check out. You can't check in, but you can check out, and then when we reestablish communication, we upload it. As far as I can tell with Leap, because it's web-based, you don't have
That would
that
be
option.
down,
Yeah.
sure, because once it's down, you
Yeah,
can't.
that
access
is, and that is a problem with that particular
Product.
product.
There are workarounds for that.
And we can't solve those here, but we're just identifying them. I think, this is Monarch making, they're looking at things. I think that's probably something you need to let Monarch be aware of, and the other libraries. I mean, again, we don't have a lot of power outages per se, but a couple weeks ago, the whole east side of the city was out for a while.
I mean, there is a way in the old days, our dark ages, what we would do is we do it on paper.
Oh, yeah.
But there were some caveats. We only allowed 5 checkouts because, taking that manually and putting it back in is a bit of a nightmare on a busy day.
Yeah.
So that's what we did. So that is, it's a bit archaic, but it does work.
So we're not going to race towards LEAP until we get the documentation, until we understand how it works.
Yeah, and you'll work with them to tell them what
Yeah.
their issues are and things like
If
that.
we find other issues.
Okay.
I think it's a good tool. We'll still use it for our outreach. We'll use it for library events outside of the library when we have internet connection, or we can use an internet connection through hotspot.
So this will be another thing, though, that they're going to be negotiating, which would probably be in a contract starting maybe next year, is
I
that
believe
it?
the contracts are due at the end of the year, so next
Okay.
year should be.
Okay, so we have a little bit of, you have a little bit of time to deal with this, but we just need to be aware of what's going
Yep.
on.
And there'll be some, once they start billing, there'll be a change in our cost for our Monarchs, which is not a huge amount, but it's gonna be a change for our costs.
Well, we can probably put this on in a couple months again, just as an update to see how things are going,
Yeah.
how the testing is going and stuff. Does anybody have any questions on either LEAP or Vega? Do we know everything about it now?
It's very complicated.
Yeah.
All right. Steve, anything else you want to discuss in your library director's report?
I feel like I'm missing something, but I think I covered everything that I listed there, so.
Okay.
Is there anything that?
I did have a question on the leadership minutes that you had posted. It said that the meetings were on Thursdays, and now because of conflicts, they will no longer be. Are you rescheduling those?
Oh, no, I guess I missed that note, but it's the certain Thursday, which is the second Thursday of the month, is the
Second, okay.
Directors Council meeting. Since I couldn't attend the leadership meeting, and then there was some other conflict that somebody else had, and I said, let's just cancel that one. There'll still be ongoing leadership meetings the
Okay.
rest of the month.
The way it just sounded, the way I read it, I might have read it wrong, is just that they were canceling it, and I thought, oh, are they just, we were getting these nice reports now, and all of a
Everything's
sudden
great,
now
and
they're
then we stop.
canceling it, yeah.
No, we're gonna keep doing it.
Okay,
And then we
Gotcha.
just had a sick day, usually they should come out on Friday, and they might come out on Monday,
Okay.
the reports, but
okay,
that'll give you an idea of everything that's going on at the library.
all right. If nothing else for Steve, we'll move on. Library Board President's Report. I didn't have much on my report. I did not say last month that it was both Steve and Brad's anniversary, because it came after, I think, our meeting, so Steve started, I don't know, when did you start, on the 1st? 17th,
Probably
okay.
close.
Well, anyways, both of them have had anniversures.
I sent him an email.
I saw that, yes, which was nice, so congratulations.
Flowers. Oh, you didn't get any
I sent a
flowers?
snowstorm.
You didn't get the $200, did you?
Nope, I guess he didn't.
Dang. I got the
All
blanket
right.
from the city.
Next on the, one of the things, I'm sure you've all seen, that Jay has submitted Jay Shambo has submitted. So we'll be getting a new administrator. One of the things that Steve and I had talked about, as a new person comes in, we were gonna look at the reports that Carrie sends us and the timeframes and stuff like that, and just maybe sit down and say, these are the times or dates we need to have our information. We haven't had a problem. I guess you're getting your finances pretty well.
Yeah, they've been,
This last
usually
time
they
was
get them,
short.
it was, yeah, I wanna say she sends it on like the 13th of the month, which depending on
When our meeting is.
when our meeting is, it
yeah.
can be really like a tight turnaround to get the reports out.
And
but-
basically, since we do pay a fee as a service, they provide us a service, we should be able to sit down and say, these are some, we need information. I understand sometimes you can't get it because of the way the month falls and closes, but if it impedes what we need at our meetings, So I guess I want to ask the board, do you have a problem with us going to the city and saying? Okay. I don't think we need a vote on that.
Wish Jay the best.
And I think it'll be really what the new administrator feels the priority is gonna be.
Well, I just want to make sure that,
But we do want to voice our concerns.
especially now with what we're doing, we have 1.1 million
Exactly.
hits on our Facebook page, my goodness.
I'm glad he talks about Facebook. Other things.
All right. Number 6, the agenda item is the annual report, one of our favorite things.
Yep. So we Every year, we gotta do the annual report. We were pretty much in line with last year. We did add more materials to our collection than we did previous years, because I did tell Darcy to make sure she spends the materials budget. And I always say, it's okay if you go over a little bit in the materials budget, because usually there's room in our budget for a little bit extra there. So she's been doing very well with that.
Yeah, I went through it, I didn't really find anything unusual.
Yeah.
I don't even think I was gonna ask, how come you don't, I'm sorry, when I was reading this incorrectly. It said description of libraries' in-person programs, and then you had down in-person story time performance. I'm thinking, well, where are we listing anything we did? That's what you listed. Okay, I just got that.
Yeah, that was actually what we had last year, I think, so just a copy over.
Did everybody, if everyone could just be, look at their own email addresses, make sure that that's correct, and their addresses, that's fine. And I think, I don't know, I don't think there's any real questions I had. It's pretty basic.
We had fewer youth programs than we did in the past, more adult programs, but our overall program attendance, I think, was pretty close to where, well, it was a little bit lower, but our use of the library is growing, so we've seen an increase this year already. Money's money. I don't know how much we want to go into that, but that's what we spent, that's what we did. We will be trying to draw down some of our funds. Reedy did say, you know, as you get close to that $1 million mark on the other funds that are held now, our funds show that we have nearly $1 million, but that includes some of the operating funds in the report that we have. So it's not quite there, but as we get close to that, that will draw a flag from the state, so we're going to try to spend some money now, which is why I'm doing the project in story room.
Okay.
For one example, we may also buy some chairs or something like that, solve some of the problems and stuff.
And are those the funds you're talking about from our carryover money? Okay.
Carry forwards or reserve funds.
'Cause
we want to have less in there.
Right. Well,
The
we've
other
had
thing
some
is-
things we were saying we wanted to spend
Right.
money on.
And we don't want
Yes.
some people deciding how we're going to spend our money, so we want to make sure that we take care of those things.
Are we doing anything with the carpeting in the teenager area? It's all stained.
The
It's because they're,
Yeah.
spot back there, yeah, we'll take care of that.
Okay.
We did put a work order in to take down the signs already in that area. They're probably gonna have to do some repair on the walls because they're glued and screwed, or screwed and glued. That's the way I wanted to say it. So it's gonna be an interesting thing to take those down or cover them with something. And then we'll do the floor as well in that area and probably put in the carpeting like we have in the rest of the library.
Okay.
so we'll need new, that will be an expenditure. We don't have carpeting sitting around.
We have some, but we're gonna need to buy more. And I'll get to that. Oh, I won't get to that because I already passed the.
And it's not on the,
report.
yes, it's not
agenda.
on, it'll be on the agenda for next month. We'll do-
Dang,
She's like, move it along.
move on. So
No.
that'll be taken care of.
But, you know, we could have had people come from outside, citizens, because they were concerned about the carpet. And if you didn't have it on the agenda, you wouldn't have given them the opportunity to come here.
Right.
I agree. I'm not the only one concerned.
We did see another shift in the library use, and I think it was more city users than county users this time, so that does change things a little bit as far as our reimbursement goes. And I just said, everything's good so far. Every year I wonder if I should say everything's good so far, but
Yeah.
everything's good with Monarch, and they provide good enough leadership, and we did everything that we were supposed to do.
I think we did one year,
By system
we
compliance.
said we didn't, I think the first year or something, but that was before Reedy came in. And
Well, and I would say, I can say it publicly, I think Reedy's a fun person. We've got some documentation, we had some transitions at the system office that just, things need to be documented better, and we'll get there eventually, and I like her as a person, so I'm sure it's gonna be okay in the future. I do have a note out to sit with her and talk through some of these concerns I have, so we can get the documentation together and move forward with confidence instead of,
And Steve and I had talked possibly about asking Reedy to come and explain Monarch to the board once things settle down with Monarch and stuff like that, and her situation.
she had an incident, so she's doctoring more, so.
So,
She'll recover.
yeah. Any questions about the annual report? If not, do you have it there for me to sign, sir? I can sign it after the meeting.
After the meeting, because I'll have to print out a fresh copy.
Oh, gosh. All right. Our next, did we have any tasks from last month?
Oh, last month?
Yeah, that should have been due. I think we did, if you look on the
Oh, we
minutes.
need to vote on the annual report.
Oh, that's right.
Got a motion.
That's right. I'm
That's
sorry.
important.
I guess it is.
That was Brad's idea.
To vote on it?
Yeah.
He's right. He's keeping us, that's our sergeant of arms, keeping us on track. Okay, we've seen the annual report. May I have a motion to approve it?
I move to approve the annual report.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll
We
second.
have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor of approving the annual report, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right. I was looking at the tasks from the last minute. They're usually listed.
Yeah, it's Director of Library to meet with Director of Public Works.
Oh,
that's right. Yeah.
we talked about that
already.
last time, yeah.
So I think that was just a carryover.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just wasn't removed. All right, are there any, our next regular meeting is going to be March 18th. Are there any assigned tasks? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Wow. First,
1 month off.
you got a month off, Steve.
Right?
Yeah.
That's not true.
With that, we are adjourned.